Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to wahsup TV. And unfortunately, Leevon is not with us tonight. Unfortunately, his daughter is sick. So your boy, Ash, I'm taking over the helm. Tonight. But incredible performance from the boys in that game that we just saw before. 34-4 against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Shout out to the chat, guys. Make sure you continue to comment through. Help me through the show tonight. Obviously, I love to answer all your questions and all that. I'll showcase all your questions and all that on the screen and stuff, just as Leevon does and all that. So please make sure, you comment down below your thoughts overall. You jump in the chat. Let's have a chat. Let's celebrate this win. Incredible win. Finally, an 80-minute performance from the boys. And I think we're all very, very proud to see we put on a show the way we did against a top outfit that haven't been playing that well this year. But, they came out really physical early on in that game, and I thought the boys really withstood a lot of back and forth to start that game and really found their game plan and then just put it on the Rabbitohs, and they just could not handle the pressure, as we saw from the back end. All their big boys just definitely could not handle the heat that we brought tonight. So thank you so much to every single one of you guys in the chat. Obviously, Horsey, welcome back. Best performance this season, and TMM and his best performance in a Warriors jersey. Great game by all. Not Jazz, just Jazz was good too. Yeah, Jazzy, I knew that was going to happen after a couple of errors that we saw with Jazzy and all that. I was kind of like, but I thought, overall had a decent game. I think he over the 100-meter mark in this one, 32 post-contact meters. So he got through his work defensively. He was chopping blokes out there. The couple of errors he does need to fix up on, but overall, very, very, very happy with his performance overall. Richard, what's going on? TMM was outstanding. Yes, we will go through TMM and Shaun Johnson's performance a little bit later on today. I thought, he was absolutely incredible, a beautiful foil to, Shaun Johnson, and just a guy to have on the other side, and he really impressed me in that performance there. All right, so Samoan Metalhead up the wires, 100%. We are with you on that one, my man. Up the freaking Warriors, baby. Incredible. Good to see everyone in the chat as well. Brycey, loving the rabbit stew, 100%. Just the pressure that we put on in that game, and they were just cooking up. Like, honestly, Latrell had some very silly moments in this game and all that, but oh man, incredible performance. I no words. Shout out to everyone. Jacko, good to see you in the chat as well. Rich, what's going on, my man? Jacko, I love the chat, man. I'll accept your apology now for selecting me, not selecting me over Galon. Yeah, fair call, man. You got over the top of that. And also, I had one that was, a lot of people didn't think that was the right way, where I called Wade Egan over, Cookie. And Cookie's an incredible night and all that, but Wade Egan in this performance and today, we'll touch on a little bit later on, was absolutely incredible. Great performance. Rich, my man. Oh, yeah. CNK is our fullback, full stop. SJ, absolute class. 100%, man. What a great way to give the man of the hour RTS. He's legendary. 100, man. 200 game for RTS. Incredible performance overall there. Egan, man of the match. The whole team, fantastic. 100%, man. I'm with you, Horsey, in this comment here before too. Not even full strength, and we put a score like that. Now, I think that's the biggest thing we can take out of this performance in this one. I think, 80 minutes, we stuck in there for the whole 80 minutes. We did not really let anything happen. The Rabbits were spreading the ball. They were trying to attack our edges as much as they could, with somewhat success, to be fair. But the boys really held in together. Our scramble defense was on tonight. And the performances across the board. Wade Egan, bro, like absolutely incredible. We'll kind of touch on it a little bit later on as well. Samoan Metalhead, CNK was the difference compared to our first 4 games. He's a missing link out there in attack. Wade Egan is on another level. 100%, man, 100%. We will touch on CNK and RTS. And really, I knew the Aussie media was going to be running with that for as much as they could. Me in Australia, obviously over here, as soon as, Roger had an amazing game at fullback. We know Rog, bro. Rog is going to put in a 110% performance when he pulls out at fullback. But CNK was our fullback from the start, and these are the reasons why, 260 meters in this game on NRL.com stats. I've checked over to Fox League stats, which are a little bit different. I think they were 249. So either way, 250, 260, 104 kick return meters, bro. He is so classy, that man. He is so classy. Rihanna, what's going on? Our creativity at the ruck is gorgeous to watch. We can open teams up from anywhere on the field entire. Yep, Wade Egan is elite. He is one of our most important players. We want, 100%. And I think, having Wade Egan out there and playing a full 80-minute performance and all that is very, very vital for us to get through. Hopefully, doesn't need to play full 80 minutes and all that, but hopefully no injuries throughout his season this season and play as much footy as he can. The rotation will come as a thing later on. If Lussick gets back onto that bench and a rotation may come, maybe that will happen again. I think CNK is starting to put his hand up as being that bench utility as we've seen. But yeah, just an amazing performance from Wado. And I'd love to see everyone actually see that and just, Wado, absolutely incredible. All right. Rich, cheer the bro. Ash, great result. 100%, my man. Bryce, this is an interesting one because I did kind of notice this as well, but we brought him off a little bit early, so hopefully a little bit of rest and all be all right. But SJ twinged his man, I can't talk right now. SJ twinged his hammy when scoring that second try. Wonder if he'll risk him next week. Really, it depends on how he gets through the prep this week and all that. Hopefully, that twinge wasn't anything too crazy. Obviously, we took him off on precaution. I think that was probably going to be the plan if we're going to be up by a hell of a lot anyway. Shawnee is just one of those players that we can take off. We've seen the Cowboys and all that sort of stuff taking Tamalolo off when they have, they're up by 30s and stuff like that. I think we couldn't risk players like him. And if we had someone to cover, obviously Wade Egan out in the field, I'm sure we would have brought him off as well. Maybe Jazzy could have covered late, but I think Jazzy came off with Jazzy and Bunty. Bunty came off with a hamstring injury. That was a bit of a worry, so we'll probably touch on that as well. But yeah, just incredible. And Bryce again, Egan for NZ, not for New South Wales. This is something I do want to touch on a little bit later on because I'm starting to see this quite a bit. And I'll give you my honest thoughts overall on whether, Egan should be a shoo-in or whatever to play for New South Wales, because obviously New South Wales have a couple other great hookers playing for him currently in that. But obviously Wado had an incredible performance over one of the older, hookers from the New South Wales Blues. And he definitely, showed out in that performance there. So I can understand the chat. Just obviously it's going to be a very, very interesting one. Appreciate every single one of you guys for coming through tonight. It's just making it so much easier. Obviously, me without Leevon, it's like I've lost my steering wheel and all that, but it's absolutely incredible to see all you fans coming out there to the channel. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Please make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. This channel is going to grow more and more. Me and Leevon are doing a lot of work and all that. Joshy Gage as well. Absolutely incredible person that jumps on the Monday shows and all that. So, yeah. Keep an eye on around the channel as well for Leevon, any news or anything like if he's back next week, what's going on. Obviously, his daughter is sick, so I appreciate every single one of you guys coming through. And obviously, I've got a little bit of a plan the way the show's going to go tonight, but I just want to go see what your thoughts are pretty early on and all that. But appreciate every single one of you guys, yeah. All right. Rich. Wow, Sydney weather came through for our team. It's been raining all week here. 100%, man, and I honestly think... I'll be completely honest, in that first half, it did look like the humidity was probably going to be a big factor against our boys. I thought, but it ended up being a factor towards the Rabbitohs. They took a lot of juice out of them. Our game plan was amazing. We just kept the pressure on them. But I did notice a little bit, early on in that game, the boys were really trying to climatize to the weather that was, obviously it was raining before this, but usually when the rain passes, that's when the humidity and the heat comes through. So just great to see the field out there hold intact, and obviously didn't hold intact for that first try when CEK tried to cover there, but yeah, just, you know, great dry track as much as it could be after all the big wet weather in Sydney at the moment. Rich again. Leevon was massive on his debut. Very scary. 100%, man. Only was on the field for, let me just check here quickly, guys. Only for a little period there. 31 minutes was actually a pretty decent period for the first game and all that off the bench. Got through 38 meters, which wasn't too crazy. 24 post contact, but the 2 big tackle breaks, and every time he took that hit up, man, he looks strong. Like, he looks so strong. Obviously, it's incredible to look strong in contact and all that in New South Wales Cup. But when you go up to the big leagues to look like that, like, yeah, he's definitely got a future and all that. Obviously, we'd love to see a lot more out of him, but with the versatility of our squad right now, I'm sure we cover him as much as we need. Like, we probably don't need to play a junior edge back roller straight away, but yeah, it seems to be the way there. Samoan Metalhead again. Thank you so much, my bro. Zion Mau should get the nod next week to replace Bunty. That would be an interesting one that we may touch on the Monday show or the Tuesday show as well. We'll go through the team list and all that, which is going to be pretty interesting. I thought Tom Ale had an amazing game in this one, so whether we, run with Jazzy, maybe Dylan Walker, hopefully will come back. I haven't seen too much news on Dylan Walker. He was supposed to return this week. Did he play Cup? I don't know. I didn't get to watch the Cup team go around and all that, but if he did, who knows? But if he's back in, Dylan Walker can definitely find his way back into that lineup there. Yeah, we got a lot of players that can cover, but Zion would be incredible as well. It's just good to see Zion get back to his footy in that after the little bit of a suspension from early season. Horsey, what's going on? Rocco Berry defense, and Pulpin, 100%. We'll talk on Rocco Berry a little bit later on as well. Honestly, the performance against Jack White and that, and they did not miss him either. Like, they were going down Berry's edge as much as they could. And I thought Berry held up pretty decently. They stripped us a couple of times there, but his cover defense was always there. And just those grass cutting tackles in cover were just on a different level. Absolutely incredible. This was a comment I've been waiting for. Sorry if someone else commented a little bit earlier, but this is the one I've been waiting for. Tina, really thought Latrell would have got Simbin. And this is a massive talking point in this game too. Like, very early on in that game, I thought that was a for sure Simbin. I have no clue what was going on there in Latrell's head. I've seen a video on TikTok of some bloke trying to say that, obviously, that was a bit of an accident. He was trying to put the fend on and all that. I could see that a little bit too, but I've seen blokes understandable, Mitch Barnett knocked out a bloke with a friggin' elbow a couple of years back in that, but he got sent off and got how many weeks for it? You can't be throwing elbows in this game. Matt Lodge playing for us, when did that happen? That was like a couple of years back. Had his bumper bars up. I'm pretty sure he got a couple of weeks and all that for it. I'm not sure if he got Simbin or Sense in that game too. So definitely was a very weird one. Then later on in the game, on that lifting tackle on Tohu, I'll be fair, Tohu maybe played that just a little bit there, but just you can't lift from that position, especially in between the legs like that. You know what's going to happen every time. And I think, we really frustrated Latrell and Cody Walker in this game, and that definitely was one of the keys for us to get this massive scoreline in this one. Rihanna, I love how we had the game in hands and we didn't get out of our structure. We just kept hammering the corner and working hard in defense. Last year, I don't think we would do that. I think we've definitely grown as a team, and last year we were incredible as well. Like, I felt defensively on our line we grew quite a bit. There was the moments, obviously the Sharks game and all that, but I think we really implemented, I think Webby's career in general as a Warriors coach, he's done things in chapters. Like, he come with the team. You notice the effort in that preseason straight away last year, and the effort was there, defensive effort was there, and then slowly started to make this team grow. We had that game like the Sharks game last year where we came back from that deficit and just won it last minute there. And then the boys got all that confidence in the world. Then our attack started to come from that. And I think, Webby is such a good coach to where he focuses on what we got going on. Like, he knows what the team's going to bring, whatever, the Rabbitohs going to bring, all these other teams going to bring. But it's that whole philosophy of focusing on yourself. A lot of it, you know, martial arts is a big thing of it. A lot of fighters do struggle with it in the UFC and stuff. If you do watch the UFC, a lot of fighters will try and mold their game plan around a fighter, and they focus on that a lot, way too much, them actually focusing on their own strengths and like building on themselves as a fighter. I think it's what Israel Adesanya does really well, and maybe working with the boys at City Kickboxing has helped that philosophy as well, where those boys really focus on their areas of their game and that, and they grow themselves as a martial artist, which ends up creating them to be harder to stop later on. You know what I mean? It's really hard to stop. You know, like the Panthers do it so well as well. You know, they work at their game, and they know no matter what team they play, if they play their game, they're going to come with the points. So I feel like that's what Webby's sort of doing with us now, and I think that's absolutely incredible. Horsey, Pompey was great, 100%, 100%. And this is the thing, you know, depth this year is on a different level. Last year, I loved, you know, Joshy Curran, I love to death. We all love Josh to death and all that, but we had, obviously, Joshy Curran, absolutely incredible, he's gone. But Bailey Siranen was that other man that we had filling in those spots now, and now we're filling in those boys. Nick Kore, obviously wasn't there tonight, but, you know, he's our bench forward now that was in those spots, and that's definitely a step up from Bailey Siranen. And, you know, other players that we got filtering down when we have, like, you know, Dylan Walker just covering so many different positions. We got RTS playing center. And then when all this went down, obviously, you know, a couple of players out, Dallin's out and all that, we can push RTS to the wing. And we got Adam Pompey, who's a first grade center, and bring him up and play first grade. We even got Big Ali there waiting to go. And I believe he's a first grade center waiting to go. So we got Ed Gossie too. We could have put Ed Gossie in this game, but I felt like that was an amazing choice from Webby in this one. With RTS, probably, you know, did have moments in defense, obviously, in this game where they were just trying to strip us on that edge, and they did a couple of times there, but I felt like, you know, the cover from the team to have experience on that side, I felt like the game plan from Webby was really, really on there. Obviously, having Barnett on that edge to play most of the game there. Yeah, really, really solid decision, and Pompey did his job, and he did it amazingly, and that's what I got to credit Pompey for sure there. I love that you bring that one up. Daniel Berry, I'm sure me and Leevon are going to get to you one day. Morning, where are you, my brother? Where are you sitting? Good morning. I love it. I love it. You're probably in the UK or something like that, but yeah, good morning to you. Great to see you back in the channel again. No matter. Every team is running jiu-jitsu drills now except for South. They are running Muay Thai drill. A little bit of that Muay Thai, baby. I love it. I love it. Throwing elbows left, right, and center. But it was really, really good to see, you know, the boys just hold into this contest here. And yeah, jiu-jitsu is a big thing. And obviously rugby league and all that these days, and the wrestle and stuff. I don't believe, you know, we'll touch on this a little bit later on. I'll probably make a video on my own personal channel about this, but I love how whenever a hip drop happens and all that, and shout out to all my jiu-jitsu fans and my wrestling fans out there, like, whenever a hip drop tackles happens, it always gets blamed on the wrestle and all that sort of stuff, and they say that they train it in the wrestle and all that. I don't know too many wrestling rooms that I've ever been in, and jiu-jitsu rooms that I've ever been in that, like, I'm seeing boys out the back of people hip dropping people. Like, I've never really seen that. I've seen off the side causing, you know, like, holding someone down from that side and really bringing them down to that limb, obviously, to get them on all fours and stuff. But I've never seen from the back someone grab both hands on the hips and then, like, just fully hip drop on someone's back of their legs. Like, you know, that's definitely not a wrestling move. I think that's a rugby league move that has been brought in due to the collisions and, like, how fast people are going and all that. It's a lazy move. It needs to be out of the game. But yeah, I'll touch on that a little bit later. Richard, what was our completion rate, Ash? All right, so we'll get through the game and my thoughts overall here and overall stats and stuff. So I'll switch you over to the stats that we got here on hands. So obviously, as we know here, 34-4. Shout out to my OCD fans out there. Obviously, that looks disgusting seeing that the opposite way around. I don't know why that is, but I don't even have OCD that I think of, but that does not look right. Completion rate and possession. So obviously, you know, our possession, 55% to their 45%. Incredible performance from our boys to really hold that above the South Sydney Rabbitohs and stuff. Even though, you know, starting off the game, as I said, their physicality was there. Like, that was probably the most physical I've seen the Rabbitohs throughout this whole season so far, you know what I mean? And our completion rate ended up being 86%, Richard, just so you can see in this one. This is on NRL.com. I know Fox League have different stats as well. I think they're actually better on Fox League as well. So I know that NRL.com can count errors off of like last tackle players and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure, or whatever's going on there. But yeah, 86% to the 63% of the... sorry, guys. Of the Rabbitohs, which is an amazing performance from the boys. Like, defensively, to hold the Rabbitohs to 63%, cause them to pressure themselves into causing so many errors. Like, that's incredible. That's incredible from the boys. Moving on to other key stats that we got going on here. Obviously, you know, more runs in the game, more run meters, which is something that we are actually really focusing on this year. If you check out the stats on NRL.com and stuff, I'm pretty sure we're like top 5, whatever, for run meters and post-contact meters on average. If you want to go check those out, make sure you guys do check it out on average, because we got too many buys this season that teams get away with like looking so much better than what they actually do, you know, when they have buys or extra games and stuff like that. So the boys have been doing really well in these areas here, especially when we got forward pack of like Adam Fanor, Blake, Mitch Barnett. Incredible. Line breaks, 6-3. So good to see from the boys, you know, get through their work, breaking through the line. It was crazy to see in the stats, seeing Wade Egan only 1 line break, but it just felt like he was causing so much more than that, like him breaking through the line. He poked his nose through that many times, like he was causing so much havoc. Tackle breaks 32-23. So obviously the Rabbits still having a little bit of success in those areas as well. Just quickly, guys, before I continue on, wahsup TV. Shout out to Leevon on his own channel here. Big up Ash for holding it down. Sorry, guys. You're okay, my brother. You're okay. But make sure that last line there, guys, hit the like button. Give us a sub on this channel, guys. We are definitely going to try and do as much as we can to build this channel. I know you guys love Leevon stuff on Instagram. That's how I found Leevon, and he's an incredible person and all that. So shout out to him and all that. We'll see you back here soon, my brother. But I'll hold down the ship till then. Richard, 86%. Webby, Will Russ, yeah, 100%. Should be the boys. That's what we need. Good stats equal could win. Yes, 100%. Average set distance, 42-37. Incredible there. Kick return meters, that's just on a different level. The work that our back three do is just on a different level. Or our back line, incredible. 234 is just like comparatively to 97. That just shows our game plan to a T. As we were touching on a little bit before, it's like the more we go ahead, this is what the 80-minute game is. We got to stick to these game plans the way we did to the Melbourne Storm as well. I felt like we stuck to our game plan so well, but the Melbourne Storm just doing Melbourne Storm things. But like Shawnee putting those kicks up and causing those back three of the Rabbitohs, the Melbourne Storm, and all these other sides that we've played this year to go for low kick return meters and all that. Like, it's just an incredible game plan, especially when you think of some strike players that are coming out of the back end from the Rabbitohs. I know they were without AJ and that, obviously, in this one, but still, Isaac Thompson is a well-known tackle breaker, post-contact meter type guy. You know, and Latrell Mitchell, obviously, and he's not known for his work rate and all that, but he's a big body that can cause a lot of havoc. So, yeah, that's crazy. Not just our game plan. Trell just looks super disinterested at the moment. Yeah, we'll probably touch on a little bit of the Rabbitohs later on in this one. I won't go for too long in this live stream tonight, but you know, I'm sure we'll touch on it a little bit more. But yeah, the way the Rabbitohs are going at the moment, just unfortunately, they are really struggling with effort in a lot of effort areas. Shout out to Cam Murray, though. Cam Murray always holds up a solid game, and I felt like Cookie was trying in this one, but when you got no proper go forward when he's coming out of the ruck, and it just looked like no one wanted to touch the ball in that game. And I think that's a lot of credit to us, because defensively we put them under a lot of pressure where they felt like they had to go for those one out big plays. But also, you know, to the Rabbitohs, they just got to stick to a solid game plan in that. And I think JD's got to really work on that myself. Offloads, the Rabbitohs with 10-5. We're not too much of an offloading team at the moment either. But the one big thing too, I'm pretty sure we're like, if you look at Fox League stats and stuff, we're up there for one of the teams with like the most total passes. And I think the Panthers are up there as well. It just shows how similar our game plan is to the Panthers. They have a slight variation of their game plan. They run a lot more back through the middle, where when we get our set plays and all that going, we usually play fan out to the edges and that to our wingers of Dallin and stuff. So other than that, the kick meters, Shawnee was on one tonight, 692 to 496, incredible. Yeah, just an incredible performance overall. Defensive stats here, effective tackle 88 to 89. I think that 88 definitely came from our scramble on that outside. There was a couple times they stripped us really, really nicely there. We missed 23 tackles in this game. That looked a lot better on Fox League stats as well, guys. So there is a couple of differences between those, but 23 is not too bad at all. Definitely we could fix up on a couple of areas there in defense, but we are growing towards a side that's playing for 80 minutes here, which is really, really good to see. Areas 15 to 8, that is probably the one big one that we want to take home here as well. You know, the areas of 15, just crazy, but yeah, unbelievable. Oh God, the man is here. Guys, what is this? What is this? The man, the myth, the legend. Welcome back, my bro. Is it working?
Sorry, man. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, the boss has to check in on this. No, I'm just checking.
I love it, bro. I'm driving without a wheel right now, honestly.
I appreciate it. Oh, sorry, guys. I was here on daddy duties, and fortunately, Mum came home to save the day. So, yeah, I'm good, guys. Thank you, Ash. Sorry, I should have let you go, bro. But the wife said, "Do you want to jump on?" I said, "If you know, you're trying to do that. It's okay with you. I'm happy to hang out with you." She's like, "No, get on this,
bro. Come through, man. Hang out with the boys. Let's celebrate this win. Let's talk about what we got going on." Incredible, man. Incredible performance. Touch on what you kind of saw. I know you had limited moments of seeing in this game due to your daughter being sick and that, bro. But what did you kind of see in this game that really impressed you in your limited time?
Mate, just I go back to for me seeing the I'll maybe point on individuals to start off with. I just liked what I saw from C&K to Maide. And even the adjustment to Roger on the wing, I turned the game on and it was straight at the point where they scored, and I was thinking, oh my goodness, it looked like Roger jammed in. I was thinking, oh mate, we're going to be in for a long night. But then everything kind of settled, and hitting those lead runners was really, really effective. Obviously, the Rocco Berry try and then the Jackson Ford try. And just real nice, strong lines from both of them. I was just really impressed with that. And then obviously the finishing, great support play from Tamaide, from SJ, the Egan try, everything. I just thought, man, this is just a really cool to see us open them up. I thought both teams were frenetic from the start. Like the pace was like who was going to run out of gas.
Yep.
And it was. I knew. I was thinking, we'll get them soon enough because they looked like they were throwing massive punches at us in the first 20, and then we hit them straight back. And I knew we had more in the tank.
100%.
And then we just kind of obviously broke them down. And but just happy with those individuals. Tamaide thought was massive. Really loved his link play and his style. Look, he's so different to Metcalf when you really look at him.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking to come in for line runs almost. You can see him coming in at times to hit him for a short ball. So it's such a different style. But I love that too. I love the variety he brings. Didn't get to see much of Laban. Would love to hear what you guys' thoughts were on Laban. Mate, just getting into the grind out football, like again, sticking to our structure. How many of those kicks did that who's that poor winger? Or Isaac
Thompson, bro.
Poor dude, man. That poor dude. And he was shot. You could tell he was shot from the first half. He was gassed, eh?
Bro. And Berry chopped him on a couple of those ones. I'm sure he had like a little niggling injury by the looks of it too. I think it was on like the second or third tackle that Berry got him late. I was like, brother, this guy, man, he is struggling tonight. We're just going to send it to him all night. So obviously scoring the first try of the match, we just wanted to put it back on him throughout the whole game.
No, he was feeling it. You could tell he was really under the pump. But yeah, so I kind of missed Tamaide's try at the end, but I looked at the replay. I was like, oh mate, this is giving me Luai. It looks like Luai cutting back in against the grain. I was like, and you got to acknowledge Tamaide. I forgot healthy Tamaide. His foot speed
is so quick.
He's got nice foot speed. And I think I really do have to harken back and say. That injury that he came off of and then to come into the back end of the season it just wasn't the right time. It wasn't a fair evaluation of him. But great to see him back. But yeah, man, that's pretty much me.
Yeah, bro. Nah, it is incredible, man. Like, I think it's the biggest thing. Like, you watch NFL and all that, you know, guys with like really quick feet and that. I think Tamayo has that like in spades, bro. Like, he's incredible on that. I love the way, you know, you watch Luai play and stuff. You know, if nothing's working on his edge, he's not afraid just to look back inside, bounce around, and you know, put a nice pass on. And I think that really suits that role of Tamade Martin, honestly. And we saw it in this game. Obviously, with that try, he got his running boots on later on in that game, just dummy and go because he wanted it. After SJ's second try there, SJ was looking back at the inside to give it to him, be like, here you go, bro. And obviously he's like, nah, I'll get one later on, my brother.
Yeah. Well, also the setup for SJ kind of stretching the spacing out to get away from, I think it was Latrell on the last pass.
Yeah.
And Tamari nailed the pass. You know, a lot of guys could muff that one. But beautiful pass.
Unbelievable, bro.
Beautiful finishing all around. Just really. I mean, even Rocco's line, that first try was just, it was like a bullet, bro. He was not going to not score that try right there.
I think Cody just saw him in the corner of his eye and goes, nah, you know what? Not today. Like, just not today, bro.
Yeah, man.
But incredible. I want to touch on a little bit of Wade Egan's work, my bro. Just, you know, just a damaging hooker that we got coming out of that ruck and that, bro. Like, he was incredible in this game. And we touched on before when we did our combined 13, we had that little bit of a, you know, 50-50 Cookie versus Wade Egan and that. You'd think that, you know, Wade Egan maybe came over the top of him in this game, and it was really unfortunate. Like, Cookie didn't have a lot of forwards running off the back of him and that, but it just showed the difference in our game plan and how good Egan is, bro. Like, he's incredible.
Yeah, Egan, like, he's just... I like Cook too. I respect his game. But yeah, they just seem so disjointed. I mean, I got to give some acknowledgement to Souths at 15 errors, and they would just drop balls, random, you know, things that uncharacteristic. And I was just like, wow. But we capitalized. The good thing as well is that we capitalized on those errors and punished them, which we should have done. But yeah, Egan's game was insane. Just the little deft touches. Mate, that try that to SJ, the first one with the break to CNK up,
bro.
Oh, mate, and shout out to 40 there saying Egan definitely getting the New South Wales call up. I hope he doesn't because I want to go on a run in that period of time, but you can see why.
Well, we'll touch on it a little bit, my bro, because I did kind of want to touch on it a little bit in the show and all that, but. Obviously, he's behind Api Gorosal and Reece Robson. I'm not sure how much video you've watched on those boys there too. But like my honest opinion on it, first of all, is like I think Wado's good enough to be in that discussion and be up there and all that. But I think with the Blues, like obviously, you know, the Warriors, they always seem to be a team that struggle to get like origin nods for a lot of different players. Like we've had some in the past of like, you know, Jacob Lillemans and stuff like that. But I think Wado's injury history and stuff is maybe something that worries like coaches in Origins. I know there's one off because that arena just goes to a whole different level. You get head knocks left, right, and center. I think for our team, you know, to be safe, I would not really rather him go to Origin and all that. I want him to play as much footy as he can and really focus on Warriors footy and that. But he's definitely good enough, and there's definitely keys if he does go to the Origin arena, working with some of the best like development coaches and all that, could implement more to his game. So what's your thoughts? Do you reckon he has a crack of Origin this year?
I think so. I think the interesting thing is Madge and how he views the position.
Yeah.
For me, traditionally, Madge is kind of, I don't know. What's your views on Madge just quickly? Like, is he kind of a, because Egan's definitely a different type. You look at the likes of Cook and Api, they're more, I suppose, physical, but more, should we say, athletic.
Yeah.
Even though Egan is athletic.
Surprisingly.
Would Madge go for a bigger, bulkier type? You know, I'm talking Api here, is in that vein. Or do you think because I know he was looking for him in the Kiwis, but that was for Kiwis purposes. Does he look for someone like an Egan? In his system, that would be the big question.
Yeah, maybe, bro. I think The biggest thing, biggest name that is in the discussion as well is Reece Robson. That comes into being that big, bulky,
a big bulky style.
defensive,
Yeah,
100%, good running game. And I think maybe if they're going to go with that 2 hooker rotation, I know it's so early to talk Origin and all that, but the Blues did really want to run that last year. And I think with Madge, I think he's seen what's going on with the Blues at the moment. Probably will do the 2 hooker rotation. Api Coruscant is more of that. Yeah, he's the athletic cookie type, get out of hooker and that, but he's deceptive as well. He's really good of popping out, working with the markers, popping under markers and that, where Reece Robson could play that 14 and also play in that 13 role if he needed to, and cover the forwards if they really go down with injuries, as we've seen with the Blues in the past, having to play Cook out in the center, because we all know Cook is a center, so he's not really a hooker, but it's a really interesting look. I know a lot of Warriors fans and all that getting excited. We've got such a great hooker on our hands right now, and honestly, I did not see this from Wade Egan when I first saw him. I thought, at best he was going to be a solid hooker that punches out his numbers. He's just grown on me so much, and I do put him in that upper echelon at the moment as hooker. So he's got an opportunity, but do we really want him to play Origin and get knocked around a little bit? I'm not too sure.
Barnett, I know people have been talking about Barnett as an option as well, and I think for these guys, that's a lot of these guys, it's their epitome of getting a Kiwis jersey, or
Exactly.
So I think if they earn it and they deserve it, they should get the opportunity to rub shoulders with the best in the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for someone like Barnett to get a taste of Origin, I think would do wonders for us. And likewise for Egan to see, because really Origin is almost like going into a finals footy. The pressure is so high, the intensity. So we want our guys to experience that, and if you look at maybe Barnett and Egan, if they can get a taste of it, mate, bring that back to us, and when the going gets tough, we would love that.
Pressure creates diamonds, my bro, and it would be great for them to get to that level. Out of the 2 of them, I would love to see Barney get up to that level and go around all the best forwards in the competition and all that, and bring it back. But
can I just hit you up right now? Is Barney better than the Saifidi brothers?
100%.
Is Barney better than what TPJ was?
100%, yeah. 100%.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Barney and Haas would be freaking mean, bro.
As a Queenslander, that scares me, bro.
Barney's good, bro. He's probably, again, when anyone comes to the Warriors, you do sacrifice your rep. There's something about coming to the Warriors as an Australian that you just lose a bit of they for whatever reason lose a bit of credibility and even getting a look in.
They must not play our videos at all anywhere. I know Fox League plays our games, but maybe it just goes silent for all the rep coaches. And I'm not sure.
Definitely, man. But Barnett would. I definitely think and I think Jacko's saying here that Barnett would make the squad, probably not. 20, maybe making the 27. Yeah, even just being at camp would be cool. I think. Yeah.
I think that would be incredible for him. And if you're thinking of the players that the Blues are sort of missing, lately, as history goes, I don't want to be that Queenslander that brings up, the way history goes and all that and that. But, we've always picked on, just that, you hear about it all the time, that Queensland spirit, those players that'll go for 80. They just do all the little things in the game. With the Blues, notoriously, they've always had some of the most talented players in the competition and that. But sometimes when the going gets tough, we just find a way to get it done. Barney's one of those players that just, when it gets tough, that's when he stands up. And that's the thing is those sort of players is what the Blues should be targeting. Him, Cam McGinnis's, obviously Cam Murray was it wasn't amazing in this game here, but obviously didn't have a lot to work on the back of. But those sort of players is what the Blues should be looking at. I think Barney's perfectly fit there to do that. And a player that can play in the middle, play edge, he can cover so many different positions. They could do a lot worse than carrying him on the bench.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was almost the last system was too Penrith centric. They kind of I at times would question the style of I recognize that it was very Penrith, very Yo centric, and then that type of thing. If it does go down that path, I mean, you're probably looking at Barnett and Egan would fit into that style. But you need a game breaker in Origin. You need someone that can kind of change the momentum, and I think Egan could be that guy. But we just have to wait to see what Madge says. Yeah.
And lastly on that, guys, Team Miller, loving the comment here. Can't trust the Queensland.
Definitely can't trust this man. Yeah.
Last touch on that, mate. You know, as a Queenslander, I'll let the game do the talking, mate. That's where I sit with that one.
That's what the Queenslanders do. Yeah, man. Nah, pick Egan, man. Yeah.
All right. So something else I do want to bring up with you, my brother, CNK and RTS. So obviously all the big talk before this game was, you know, should RTS be playing fullback no matter what? As Warriors fans, we knew what the plan was. Everyone knew what the plan was. I just love how the Aussie media, you know, we all see RTS and we know how great he is at fullback and all that. Yep. But does this shut down the conversation? We saw this in this game, 260 meters and RTS, like still incredible on that wing roll. 162 and just looked damaging, scored a try in 200. What's your thoughts on both these boys? And like, is this the perfect way to look at our squad?
Yeah, I think obviously those we see now how important CNK is in link play. I mean, the last try I was talking with Ash before we set up the stream was about. Remember that play that how RTS scored was similar to what Berry bombed with Dallin in the Canberra game.
Yep, 100%.
Almost identical, but you can tell with CNK he understood when to pass it and just sort of lead RTS into the try line, and RTS did a great job of finishing that one, keeping his feet in. Yep. But it's those little things like that. And then you see the continuity with Egan around the ruck to pull that play off. That was just beautiful. And then setting up the outsides and just little details, defensive work. And again, I apologize, guys. I didn't get to watch all the game, but I did see enough and know that he's, you know, the numbers do tell a story. And no doubt, you know, he's the right guy. And then RTS, on the other hand, interesting that they went for Pompey in the center and pushed him out. I can kind of, maybe it was a really last-minute change with Dallin, I'm assuming. To just reshuffle, because naturally you probably would go with Kossi there, and then you push out, but still RTS did a great job. And I think that game in itself shows how important CNK is, and it shows actually more of the value of RTS in terms of even he can do wing work. You know, he can do anything in the back line almost, which is scary for oppositions. Like it's scary for. You might get an HIA to CNK. You think, sweet man. Oh, what freaking artist? Oh my goodness.
Daly fullback.
You know, well, Dallin's down. Dallin's down. Oh, sweet man. Yeah, mean bro. Yeah. Oh, what artist? You know. So it's that type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Murray, I completely agree, man. Like when I think there was a moment in that game too, like very early on, like I think it was the first run CNK had. I'm not too sure. You just don't watch Fox League coverage over in New Zealand. It's Sky Sports coverage. So
I do. I do. I work in the illegal element spaces for my podcast. Sorry, guys.
I love it. I love the way you do things. Yeah. But you would have heard. I think it was Warren that was commentating on that game and I'm pretty sure he called CNK RTS. And we do forget some of the footwork that CNK possesses as well. And Shawnee covered it in the post game too. He got interviewed in that, and he called him the running back from out back. And people forget some of the work he can do with his feet as well. Like he's so vital to us on that out the back play. But 260 meters, like 104 from out back, 68 post contact, and then we have RTS that's going to be playing center. You know, when he gets back, when Dallin gets back, and Dal gets back, and he's going to be another 100+ winger that we bring back into this team. So, just people forget, people sleep on a couple of things there. And our bro Ingo Mates, no mates. What's his name, brother?
40. Shout out
40, bro. Shout out 40. I'm glad CNK had a mean game, and everyone is forget how he got his ankles broken in the first 5 minutes of the game. 100%, bro. 100%. Completely agree. I bro, as soon as that happened, I was waiting to go on Instagram go, oh no.
I was waiting for the music. You know that McInnes music for his one? Yeah.
Bro, I love our fan base to death, but I knew there was going to be some comments out there be like, where's RTS? Bring him back. But
I know, absolutely, bro. Just quickly, I think on CNK is, I know he's a man of faith as well, a Christian and that. But if you take that into account, all of his kind of his belief, his self-belief, his confidence, he just represents that in his body language, and you can see that for a lot of the team, he's kind of a rock or someone to feed off of. He has a really good positive energy. So yeah, we're just going to wait and see how that even ties in more with RTS, who's he's amazing, and all the guys seem no egos in that backline. No one's trying to be like I saw Sean today, and I thought, man, Sean could just dummy and go there, but
Yep.
he kept putting the kick in.
Mm-hmm.
He stuck to the structure. That's how where these guys are out in terms of. Remember, Warriors of old, even a young Sean would probably say, "I'm going to take that line on there. I'm going to do a little chip and chase for myself."
100%.
It's just a totally different mindset, and there's no ego, and everyone's committed to the one goal. And it's just beautiful to see. And like I said, I think CNK RTS, they're all on the same page. No egos, all men that believe in the team and trust in each other. So love it.
Yep. I think that's the best thing to touch on with the Warriors. And we've seen in this performance, in this one, 80 minutes where we stuck to a game plan solidly all the way through. But we've done it majority throughout this whole year so far. I felt like no matter when things got hard, we still stuck to a game plan. A lot of our things that didn't come off early came to just us playing players like in different positions, different combinations, like things just weren't clicking really well. The Melbourne Storm game was the big one that had a shining light for that exact thing that you said. Was I noticed that many times where, the boys were like on the back foot a little bit, scoreline pressure really got to us, we were down 18-6, but Shawnee just kept putting that kick up into the corner of Xavier Coates and just kept at that game plan. I think that's a big thing that Webby's instilling in his side, and it's so vital to us because you look at the Penrith Panthers, like currently losing right now, which, it is what it is, and that, but it's what wins the premierships, man. Like, they stick to a game plan no matter what, and they know that that's going to win them the game. So incredible performance and stuff. So
just quick side note on just quickly. Berry may be one of the most penalised guys in the comp. But the reason why, guys, is that he's almost has to be so perfect in his tackle and timing of that guy that's catching the winger that's catching the ball.
100%.
I know he's probably, if you looked at his penalty numbers, he probably gets the most, but it's because he's got to make split second, like the ball, he catches the ball and then he's got to tackle him. And I know he got caught on the head high, but there's going to be one of those every 2 or 3 games. But for the majority, I think he's really good at it. And at the same time, when he's in the aerial, he's an aerial threat. This kid, man, like really,
bro.
Once he gets, he'll get even more confidence, and he'll be able to grab those balls. But that guy, man, or Thompson, he's putting up the foot a bit. He's taking a bit of the old Daniel Sard with his old little kicks out. Like,
not the old Billy Slaters.
The old Billies, man. That was the old the flying kicks.
Actually, I wanted to get your thoughts. Did you get to see the Latrell elbow and all that, and
disgusting.
like his sort of games and stuff? What was your thoughts? Do you reckon he should have been in the bin for that one, or what?
Absolutely. It reminded me of remember Dimitri last year. He was third man in, and he got sin bin for
right.
And I was thinking, this guy has fallen, lifted his elbow, and caught Sean on the chin.
Yep.
The thought was maybe Sean should have gone down. And just, but then again, he would have been taken off for an HIA and could have changed. But there was definite sin bin, man. Definite sin bin.
And then later on in the game, like,
but the guy is a nutcase because he goes, Albert, catches it. Oh, sorry, bro. Like he elbows.
He's got that little thing going on in his brain.
Yeah, he's like, gone too far, and he catches the hit. Oh, sorry, Sean. He's like, bang.
Well, he tried. I don't want to pile on Latrell and all that, but he tried to do it last week to Josh Adokara as well. Like, he came in like late night, caught the head and stuff, and then he tried to cover over him and give him a cuddle at the end there. And
there's a guy. It's someone, and we all know them. If we've all played footy on the school lunchtime and on the school field or anywhere, there's always someone that's got to do a cheap shot, and they always got either a sore loser mentality, and they do something to you. It's always happened in any part of the. And Latrell's just got too much of that. He's like a guy, you can't tackle him. You're only allowed to tackle him if he dominates the run. And if you try and hit him up, he'll force, he'll do something dirty to you. It's just he's got to get it out of his game, man. You got to accept that if someone beats you to the spot, don't try and put a cheap shot on them. And then likewise,
I completely agree, bro. I completely agree. When you look at it like Latrell's always had that in this game. If you looked at his old, like, his knockout footages and stuff like that, the Curry knockout and all that, he had like one of the big highlights. I'm pretty sure he was playing 6 or something, and he flipped that other opposite 6 on his head and stuff like that. It was one of the big highlights going around about Latrell Mitchell early on in the game. And the Rabbitohs unfortunately have a couple of these type of guys in their squad with him and Cody Walker that, that can be a positive thing that sometimes obviously they want to be in the contest. They're going to try their hardest. They're going to like fight for every inch and all that, but sometimes they can go way over the top to the over the edge, and it's to a fault. And I feel like sometimes that's what's really happening with the Rabbitohs at the moment. When they get themselves on the back foot, they don't have the players that are like, they have mental players that want to grind it back, but they also have these guys that kind of just with trying that, it puts them in more of a hole. Like Cody did that a lot in this game. You notice it really, really late. His frustration really, took it out of him, and the amount of errors that we bounced off top of them, like, it was on a different level. So,
look, I think if I can make a comment on Souths, there's a power struggle there, and I think Dimitri may in the background have given too much power to Cody and Latrell. My thought behind it is, if you look at Latrell and other systems in the Blues system as a center, awesome, well structured, devastating. But there's a picking order there. He's not going to get away with any of that stuff, And likewise with Cody Walker, when Adam Reynolds was running the ship, he knew his spot, and he stayed, and Reynolds ran the ship. I think those two and maybe have just gotten too much power. And maybe what Sam Burgess was saying was true all along.
That's the big one.
Yeah. And I think Dimitri is probably on his way out. If he can't pull this out, and he's not going to make some changes,
it's going to be tough.
He's lost the dressing room, and we've seen that in the past. But that's my thoughts anyway.
100%, bro. All right, let's get on to this next one. A massive comment here from Loho. I wasn't a fan of TMM. I wasn't a huge TMM fan, but I'm on board. Sean Johnson's sick plays with him there too. So I did want to touch on, obviously, the boys, Sean Johnson and TMM and their combination in this game. We touched on it a little bit before, but is there any more that you really wanted to touch on it there, and like how their combination really looked in this game?
Look, TMM, I want to backtrack and I'm in the
same boat.
And I think, we look at someone as Metcalf and say, well, this guy is the future, and you want to see him have a good run, and you forget about guys like TMM at times. But I think a lot of that had to do with he came in too early because of Metcalf. It was literally like they swapped out almost the week after each other. And he wasn't ready, if we really looked at it. And he came in a Dolphins game with Volkman, where it was a throwaway game with nothing to take away from it. And then he was straight into against Penrith under pressure. Played okay against the Knights, but again wasn't fully fit. And then just the team overall against the Broncos was pretty bad, and he just didn't fit into place. So you gotta acknowledge that and say, okay, that wasn't the best TMM we've seen, because we knew the TMM at the start of the year and what he could bring. So I think it's a little bit of that. I think it's also a little bit of maybe him getting back to full health, and just sort of Cup is always good as well for just getting reps. He's playing more of a 7 from what I understand, in Cup, and again, it goes back to the system that Webby's set up. It's a system that people can come in and out of. We saw CHT do a decent job last week. Now we saw Tamaiti. But he's got attributes that we kind of forgot or we haven't seen in a while. Those running attributes. I think he's going to be really good for us moving forward, and hopefully we go on a run here. But I loved it, and happy to take the hits for it.
Bro, we're both in the same boat, bro. We're both in the same boat. Like, I was before the game, if you had me, like we spoke about this on our last stream and all that, like I would have had CHT just off the performance before that and that. But obviously Webby has CHT as being that more utility type of player, that utility mold, like, the guy that fills in a spot, does a great job at that as well. Where Tamaiti, he and there was a couple of moments in this game where I felt like our left side did look really, really nice on some playmake. We cut him short a couple of times. Monty had a couple of nice runs down the sideline.
Yep.
He had to cut back in a couple of times there. On a better day, maybe he would have scored one or two. If Roger was back on that centre as well. Bompy had an amazing game as well too. This is not taking anything away from Bomps, but Roger's attack maybe would have looked really, really nice there as well. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see when we go back to that, like how that sort of looks and stuff. And I think it was a perfect thing that you said earlier on. He does look a lot like that that Jerome Luai mold of player where we can cut back on the inside, we can cut back on the outside, runs really well. And when things don't go right, we don't push the pass. I think Met's still got to learn that a little bit. And like Met's definitely is our future, and we're not taking that away from Met's at all.
Yeah.
But sometimes, Metz can, if he sees nothing, he'll just run, or he'll try to overplay his hand maybe a little bit there. Where Tamate, like he will double look, go back on the inside, play, that sort of look. So it was a really, really good game to watch there. And Shawnee, bro, fuck. 2 tries, 2 try assists, like vintage Shawnee, man. Like, and it's a different Shawnee, but it's still vintage Shawnee in a way.
And just going back to Tamari, like, look, and I think a big thing we've talked about Capewell and his history, right? Look at Tamari's history as well. Played with the Cowboys. I think he went to a grand final. I don't know what was it he did. Yeah, he's played high pressure games.
100%.
If he didn't have that brain injury, who knows where he'd be? He'd probably be in one of the top 5/8 or whatever in the game.
Yep.
Has found a way to come back. Bro, if you really watch the Broncos when he was there in 2022, he was awesome.
Yep.
He was good at covering stuff. He was good at his running game, support play. It was just really, really good. So we sometimes, obviously, guys look different in a different system. With Webby, a lot of our guys, would look totally different. And so he's done well to adapt and fit in. And but yeah, I think we're going to again. If you looked at the example, probably last week, you had CHT coming in, and he put that crossfield bomb to Montoya off the left foot. And you think, mate, that's a great attribute, man. We need him as a 5/8. That left foot is just going to be beautiful. And then you see the try that Tamari got for himself. You think, man, that's Luai. That's something we need as well. We need a bit off the cuff. We need a bit of support play. We need a bit of someone was looking at the game a little bit differently than what Metcalf is seeing and seeing options for the outside or the inside. So it's exciting. It's exciting that we've got so much depth and that we've got guys that are just bringing something different. And that difference is what we need to win games. Like
100%, bro.
So, yeah,
100% agree.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts? I bet this is the one thing I'm just looking up Tamate Martin, like, overall his stats and that, where he began and all that. So I'll touch on that a little more on that. But how old do you reckon Tamate is right now?
Well, I thought he was maybe 28, 27.
Bro, you're bang on. You're bang on.
Yeah,
So he still has a bit of a career in front of him if, like, he holds on to injuries and, like, hopefully that head injury is not anything to do with a little bit later on in his career and all that.
Well, lucky
like,
there wasn't Latrell hitting Tamari, bro.
Yeah, bro, right? That would have been so much more of a story. Like,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Take the story out of it. The fact that he threw an elbow at someone's head, it's got to go. You got to get sent off, bro.
I couldn't believe that, bro. That needs to be spoken about a lot more, and I'm sure it will. Hopefully this week, hopefully it gets spoken about a little bit more. But the one thing I did want to touch on with Tamate Martin is, like, if we were back into 2016, right, and this is when he debuted, and he was playing for the Penrith Panthers, as you touched on. He was a heavily rated half. Like, he was absolutely incredible coming through early. If we were to be told back then, 2016, that he was going to be playing for the Warriors in 2023, we would have thought that, man, he would be on probably about 800K. He'd be an incredible, like, that long-term experience halfback that's probably won a couple of premierships and all that in the early years of his career, because he looked like that type of player, young back in the day. But we got him for chips, honestly, and he's amazing to fill in multiple different positions, and I'm so happy to have him in our squad, and he's definitely proven himself in this game, because I got to eat some humble pie as well, bro. As I said before, I had, obviously to start the season, I had Metcalf ahead of him, and then when it came chance of choosing those two, I had Chanel over him. He didn't impress me in cup, but he just proved himself. He's got experience, and I think that's maybe what we need at the moment until Metz comes back, and even then, maybe that's going to be a really tough decision when Metz does come back.
Well, if he goes on a run here and does what he does, it's again going back to that point, is that we need something different. Somebody sees the game as well. Like, when you see him come in on a short ball off of C&K and he gets called for a forward pass,
Yeah.
it's because he's seeing lines and openings for himself as well, just in a different way to what a Metcalf. Well, Metcalf sees a short ball for himself, but Metcalf also sees other stuff. Well, Tamaiti sees things differently as well. So, but great thing to have. Great to have.
He's definitely more of a natural half. I think that's kind of what you're touching on. He probably sees the more lines from a halfback position, where Metz, for me, I still sit on the whole thing. He still looks a lot more like a fullback, and he looks better in fullback positions. So maybe he looks at things a little bit different from that fullback position. But I quickly do want to touch on, guys, right now we are 99 viewers overall. That is absolutely incredible. Live viewers right now. Everyone in the chat's been going absolutely mental. I'm sorry I haven't been going through every single one of you guys, because
we cracked 100. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, we cracked 100. Let's go. Make sure anyone, if you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, whatever, make sure you do. wahsup TV. We're going to grow this channel incredibly. Like right now, what are we at? We're at like 600.
Yeah. 6.
Bro, incredible.
Yeah. We're chugging along, man. We're chugging along. Appreciate everyone's support.
Just absolutely incredible, bro. Just absolutely incredible. And lastly, kind of thing I really want to touch on here. Everyone's been talking about it. Rocco Berry, bro. Rocco Berry. Like, where do you reckon this kid can go from here? Like, I know we fought so hard back in the day to fight him away from that All Black system. Like, I wonder what he would have looked if he continued on Union, where he would have touched. But now I'm so happy that he's in our squad, and he's like grown into this player that at once there was so many Warriors fans against having him in the squad. Now look at him, bro. Now look at him. He's been absolutely incredible. The grass cutting tackles on Jack Whiten tonight.
Yeah, that one from behind you on Whiten. Yeah, it's like, this kid's good, man.
What's your thoughts on Rocco?
Just amazing. Again, the line off of Sean was like a missile flying. He was not going to not score that. And, just the details around, obviously we all know about his defensive work. I jumped in and out, didn't get to see much of him, but I did see the one where he caught Wyden from behind. I was just laughing my head off because I knew. So I was like, freaking hell, this kid, man, he's just doing, he's putting everything on tape that, is a sign of a great young player. And he's only in his infancy. But the key thing for this kid is he's really mastering all the fundamentals. If I can use an example of, I do a bit of music, and but the key for any musician is first learning the fundamentals of the instrument. There's no point in learning how to do all the amazing licks up the guitar or drum rolls. It's first, be locked into the beat, learn your basic chords, and then you can build off of that. So for this kid, he's built the fundamentals in his game, which is sound defense, he's learning his running game, he's learning the attack game, he's learning his situational awareness. I remember we talked about in the video last week where he came across his fullback cover. I think that's a type of mentality. You got to have a mentality to want to do that and understand what to do in certain situations. So he's becoming, and I've said, I just did a review on him as well, and I said he's growing his own character. If you think of a Benji Marshall or Sean Johnson, they have a character to them. They got a swagger. They got a swagger. They got a style to themselves. We're starting to learn, I feel, Berry's actual personality. His personality is starting to show on the game. And I just think that's great for a young kid. And but his game is fundamentally sound, and he's using that now as a platform to add other elements into his game. So I loved it. Love it.
I'm going to hold on to the thing that I said about Rocco Berry when I first saw him in the competition and that, and because I watched a lot of him when he was playing for Redcliffe and all that, when he was down here during COVID time and stuff, is to me, and people probably don't see it right now because his attack isn't like up to this guy's level and that, but he's a baby Joey Manu. And I see so much of it. And a lot of it does come down to, as you said before, is his fundamentals. Like he does all the fundamentals, and maybe he'll grow into a player that becomes like a Joey Manu where he's free-flowing footy in, but everything in the fundamentals will back him up. And you touched on it with music. I'll touch on it with like jiu-jitsu and MMA, like jiu-jitsu and that. When you like come in, bro, you learn all the little basics of like, when you're on your back, your defenses and everything to stop. And you learn how to survive in little certain situations. And then like when you get to your blue belts and stuff like that is where you start learning of like your craft. Like you start flourishing and you start like putting personality into your jiu-jitsu, like early on, a lot of people do exactly the same thing. Or if you're not that great, a lot of people try to throw up all different moves and stuff like that, but it's not going to work. If you haven't got that base or that fundamentals from the start, then you can grow on top of that and just become like a different player. Rocco is learning that right now. He's doing all the groundwork for him later on to be that incredible center for the future. And shout out to Jacko here. Berry is going to be one of the best centers in Warriors colors. And like thinking of all the Warriors centers that we've had, like, you know, Nigel Vunganas, the Clint Tupis, the yeah, like, bro, some of the centers that we've had in the past, absolutely incredible. Connie Harrell's, like, we've been excited by some, and we've had some, you know, Solomon Cutters. But, you know, Berry's definitely going to be up there in the discussion later on in the years for our big combined, you know, 13s all the time.
Has Latrell been doing jiu-jitsu with you, man? He's got the elbow.
Oh, stop it, man. Stop it. Tell Latrell, bro, go down to an MMA gym and learn a little bit.
Muay Thai, eh? He's been doing the Muay Thai with the elbow. Oh,
well, I had to find a little comment later. Early on, bro, some of the boys were like, was it a lot of the NRL teams learn jiu-jitsu? Souths are learning Muay Thai.
Whoever wrote that, that's a classic, bro. Yeah,
love that comment. Right. Love that comment.
I'll give you one more. Is like if you watch a little bit of basketball, like one-on-one basketball, there's these guys on YouTube and they like play each other one-on-one. And there's this one kid and he just all he does is just do all these fast ass dribbles through the legs, and the guy's just standing there on defense like, what are you doing? And he puts up the shot, you know, the step back shot, and it's like from halfway and he misses. But that's what the fundamentals. And you look at guys that play basketball that know the fundamentals. Their game is very simple. They post someone up, they do a spin move, or you know, they do a nice easy layup or following. You don't need all that fancy through the legs and one style. All you need is the fundamentals, and that's what I'm saying. And like you're talking about him developing into a Joey Man, he will in time.
100%.
But his game is so built on. Man, the work he did in Whiten today was like, it's how he's saying the professor.
Professor, exactly. I had that name in my head right there. And one, baby.
Yeah, the old professor and hot sauce and from back in the day, Escalade. You know, I used to be big into N1, but yeah.
I love that.
You don't need that, you know, if you want to be a sound footy player, you don't need 1,000 steps like RTS. You know, he's just gifted with that. But just stick to your game, yeah.
Some of the greatest players of all time, bro. All they are is guys that just do the 1%ers all the time and do the big stuff. Or like, you know what I mean? They're absolutely incredible. Shout out to Jacko here. Here's a stat for you. We have conceded only 72 points this season, which suggests we are one of the best defensive systems in the league at the moment. And that is 100% correct. And if you take that on average too, guys, this is the one thing I do want to touch on because I love looking deep into stats and all that sort of stuff. And if you don't took on average on NRL.com, you'll see some of the teams that are top of the competition right now that haven't played a certain game or played more games than not. And with defense, it's good to see, like, you know, the Melbourne Storm had a bye. Was it last weekend? So therefore, their against is 72 as well. But if they had to play another game, who would have known? They would have got 30 scored on them. Who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've done that in playing every game this year. Like, that's an incredible stat to have. And I think right now, I'm not sure what's going on with that Panthers game and stuff, whether those stats will go up. Maybe we are the best defensive team in the competition, or we're at least top 3, bro. What's your thoughts on our defense so far?
Yeah, apart from the Storm game, which if you think about it, it was 20 minutes of carnage at the start, and then 2 soft tries at the end. I think the Sharks got to 16 maybe, and then who else? The Raiders got to 10 maybe, and then was it 12 last week? I can't remember. Yeah, and then it was 4 this week.
Yep.
You know, incredible. And it just man, just incredible defense. Only getting caught out on little lapses in play. We're scrambling really well at the moment. I think probably the Storm was the only game where we just were all over the place. I think we just weren't tied in. But since then, we've looked really solid across the park. I would say we're up there, man. As one of the better teams for sure.
100%. There's one stat I did want to look into, and unfortunately, I'm not too sure. Like, do you have a different place you find your stats at all, my bro, or do you like go through your Fox leagues, your NRL.coms and stuff like that? Rugby league.
Steady. I look at footy statistics for interchanges, but I don't really deep dive into this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. If anyone else in the chat, let me know if you got any like better sites and all that sort of stuff to go really, really in depth. Because I wanted to figure out remember last week we had that whole thing of like, Old Love brought up that we had the worst defense on our goal line.
I'm gonna have to ask her where she got that from. I don't know where that was from.
I'm really curious where to find that, because on Fox League you could find of like the opposition 20 tackle, like how much we get tackled in the opposition 20 or the other way around or whatever. I want to find out that stat because I feel like we play a lot of our footy like between the 40 and 40. Like we keep teams either in their own end or they're 40 to 40. They don't get a lot of chances to attack on our line, and that's a big thing. So when they do score, obviously that kind of outweighs that sort of stat and stuff. And the Panthers are so similar, so I just wanted to really see if there's any other way I could find that out, because I really want to look into that, how close we are to the Panthers.
I would honestly say to you, if you looked at the tries that we've got scored against us, I think what she was saying was that we concede tries on our goal line in the shortest amount of time. So, for example, we leak tries when we're on our goal line every 7 tackles, apparently was what I was saying. So I think... the eye test. Yeah, that's another good one.
T Miller, amazing. The eye test is mean.
What's the rugby league eye test? Do you know that guy? I've seen him on Twitter a few times.
I haven't seen him. No, I follow
too.
Random Stats. Random Stats guy is good for that as well. But
there's this fella on Twitter. I don't know if you guys know him. Rugby league eye test.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, and he's got some amazing data.
I thought that was a dig from T Miller. I love you, T Miller, bro.
No, he might be talking about eye test. Yeah, he might be talking about him. He might be talking about eye test actually. The rugby league eye test is a good. I mean, I've spoken to him a few times before on some of the data he had last year, but he's got really good varieties. He's almost, for me, he's like a kind of an NFL. You know how NFL have those deep statistics. I think he's like kind of that type of dude.
Yep.
But yeah, check him out, bro. He's got his own website, I think, and
I kind of wish we had more of it, bro, because if you watch the EPL a lot, and all that, like the EPL stats are just left, right, and center, and they're chucked at you like all the time and stuff.
There's not enough deep statistics on rugby league, unfortunately, and I don't know why.
No.
Because I use SofaScore to watch Premier League score lines, and they've got so much deep possession based in certain halves. But that's definitely an area where we don't even. But I know from this guy, I've seen a few of his tweets come up, and he has like heat zones of where your play the balls are and that type of thing.
Yep, I love that.
But yeah, I think what Tiff was saying is that we were leaking tries the quickest on our goal line. Okay. But what I would say to that is that most teams, when they may not have been camped on our goal line for long, but maybe they've built pressure through the middle of the park. I don't know, and then it's all just come out quickly in early tries. So
I've noticed it so early this season, bro. Like, the amount of work that we've put into, holding a team into their own end and really playing that possession-based footy of like, if you obviously the Union side of things, and Union is the reason why Union they kick so much to get field position. They work off field positions, then they get in their phases. League at moments had that with the Melbourne Storm and all that, and then kind of got lost. And the Panthers started doing that and really like hammering it home, a simple game plan that just wins games. And it's good to see Webby come over here and really do that similar thing. And like maybe it does come down to, as you're kind of touching on, that when we allow a team to get into our own end, we've done so much work just keeping them down in their end, which is going to give us more points later on. Sometimes it just happens to be those moments.
I think there's some truth to that, because I can't for the life of me remember us really having heaps of defense on our goal line.
No.
And so I'm thinking that for whatever reason, those tries have just come within that first set of being on our goal line. And I think it's really early days for that type of data anyway. But it was an interesting comment that was made. But I would have to myself as well look for some data around goal line defense and like how many, because I imagine the better teams would leak, say, for example, for your Penrith or whatever. Maybe per goal line they may leak every third set. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know what the stats would be, but that'd be an interesting stat to look up. Yeah,
It would be, and like I'd love for a stat. I've said it for such a long time, you know, in like soccer, and maybe I'm just swaying into like the old other sports option too much and that, but I'd love an XG sort of thing in rugby league,
XG.
like an expected try sort of thing or whatever in rugby league. To see,
Yeah.
you know, the amount of times that we were down in South's position too, and the amount of like moments we create. I'd love to see us comparatively to other teams too, of like bomb tries, maybe going XG wise, like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
to see
XG's,
how many
yeah, I do.
opportunities we have.
Yeah, I would actually love to see. I just love to see more deep level. What's the word? It's like neck. It's not like neck level, but it's like deep level stats. And they call it an NFL. But
Yeah.
same. Like we need way more of that. Like I just don't even. I think in general analysis, like it's only really us sometimes doing it as fans. You know, like
Yeah.
Billy. Was it? Matty Johns and Cooper are pretty good, but bro, I'd love to see them up against the women visual board, you know, and they're like breaking down plays like even more.
100%, bro.
We just really miss that in rugby league. You look at every other sport, NFL, football, they break it down into deep detail. You know, they can see blooming ants under the pitch walking. You know, they will see worms. You know,
Well, that's the biggest difference, bro. Of like, you know, because we're such a young sport still and all that, but there's been so many different eras within the time that we've had sports. And when you have commentators like Blocker and that, like back in his day, Blocker, like I know he's a front rower and all that, but I bet you Blocker would have had a decent mind for footy back in the day, right?
Yeah.
But like just the new age of footy, and I don't want to take any away for Blocker because he reached more levels than what I had at any time or anything like that, right? But I think when it comes to like the new age of footy, there's so much more nuance to it. And it's when you listen to like Willie Mason kind of talk about it a little bit more too, is like how teams are so much more defense. Like, you know, they look at different things and there's so much nuance to it comparatively to the old game where it was pretty much just like get your ass up, play the ball, get down the other field and just smash someone. That's used to be the game.
Like I was thinking, like when you break it down into individual tackles, like who has the best first carry in the NRL? Who's the best on fourth tackle carries? Or you know, like there's so many different you know, who does the most grubber attacks, you know, like who, you know, there's so many things we could do with the NRL. But I just think like I look at the NRL.com and I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed.
So disappointed.
Because even like there's stats there that are kind of unrelated or like play the ball speeds. I'm like it's hard to kind of determine how that impacts the game. And what that actually means. Like there's no correlation to anything I find with a lot of these stats.
And a lot of time they don't really put up the right stats anyway. Like there's two different stats as I was trying to brought up early on is like NRL.com versus Fox League stats. They're two different stats too.
Yeah.
So they got two different interpretations of each rule or each like play in the game. Like maybe an error on NRL.com is like, you know, those last tackle plays that we drop a ball on, but we actually completed the set. But like it end up, you know what I mean? The attacking set and stuff. But, you know, not to get too bogged down into the stats and that, last little thing I want to bring up with you, my brother.
Yeah.
Did you see Caleb Clark in the crowd? We have our boy Bryce Greens. I saw Caleb Clark in the crowd. Wonder if he'd prefer playing for the Wahs over the Rabbits now. What's your thoughts on Caleb Clark, bro? Would there be any lure to play for the Warriors these days, especially for a young killer that's playing in the All Black system? Like the All Blacks, the greatest team. Like for me, and this has come from an Aussie and all that, they're the greatest organization, like sporting organization in the world. And I think there's no doubt about that. But like, is there maybe starting to be a little bit of a change to where the Warriors become a little bit more tasty?
I think so. Well, I think he's a guy, if you looked at his skill set, would do great in rugby league. I mean, like rugby leagues usually does well with outside backs transitioning over and vice versa. Like wingers, I think of mainly the Fijian guys that went over to rugby union. So yeah, I think he would fit. I think you maybe see it in a few years' time. I think the NRL is on a trajectory where, with an increased salary cap, rugby league is definitely becoming an option. Yeah. To get him over the line, I'm not too sure. I know a lot of rugby guys, they follow that trajectory because they want to, obviously be All Blacks, and that's the pinnacle for that game. But I think the Warriors, from a community and wider perspective in New Zealand, are really drawing attention, and maybe if we did see a Caleb Clark come to the Warriors, that would just change the whole view of rugby league in New Zealand, and that it would open pathways similar to back in the 90s when Kerwin and Mark Ellis were coming over. You know, it would almost open up the discussion again, because we haven't really had a major convert like that since those days.
No.
We've had development guys. I think if you think of a Lau Mape coming through, and Ngani, that was, bro. If we kept Ngani, he was amazing. I loved him. But they always were juniors from rugby, or Rocco Berry, for example, coming through, but no one of an established level like a Caleb Clark that I can think of.
Nah.
But if you did that, bro, that would change.
Could you imagine him? I've just envisioning him on, like, if I was going to choose both sides there, and, like, you know, nothing on Monty and that, but could you imagine the future with, like, Caleb Clark on that right edge?
It'd be Manu 2.0, man.
Oh, bro, it'd be absolutely incredible. And I love the chat about it too, because we've had multiple times in rugby league, you know, early on we had, you know, Wendell Saylor and Lottie Dakiri go to rugby union, perform, and then come back a little bit later on and all that. Like, it'd be nice, you know, to have those moments of, like, you know, bringing some rugby union talent over and see what they've got in rugby league, and give it a really good shot. And I think Caleb Clark's got a massive potential to be incredible in rugby league.
Yeah, absolutely. And he absolutely does. And yeah, Richie's saying Caleb Clark is a money supporter, so I think they need
Agreed.
They could have done with him today, I think.
100%, man, 100%. And I know I've probably said lastly that many times, but the Seagulls going down, beating the Penrith Panthers, bro.
I need to go watch this one.
Same.
32-18. I mean,
what?
Like, interesting, but it's crazy what's happening in the game right now. The Dragons do a number on these guys last week, and then the Dragons get pumped to the Knights, and then these guys pump it. What's happening, man?
I don't know, man.
I mean,
I don't know.
I'm trying to think, like, if there's I think we might be the most stable team at the moment.
We seem to go like this, our performances.
Yeah. Everyone else is just fluctuating right now. Like, I was bagging the Seagulls. I thought, oh man, these guys they've hit a brick wall. It seems like, you know, things weren't working out against the Dragons, the lowly Dragons.
Yep.
And to come out and do a number, obviously, I think that's without there would be Cleary.
No Cleary.
Yeah, but still, the Penrith side, you know, the standards they have, you got to say shivers to put on that much. But they bro, that's we might have to cut up some of that footage, because we might need to break that one down on Tuesday, because that's coming directly to us next Saturday.
Yeah, and my thoughts overall on that, like, coming from a Warriors fan, I would have felt a lot more nervous in this Rabbitohs game, right, if they lost last week to the Dogs. This is kind of the same sort of thing. Like, I understand if Manly won a 2-game losing streak, like, it's always been a thing with the Warriors. I always feel like teams use us as a really good bounce back in years past. And, like, hopefully now it becomes a thing of, like, now we're the ones that are just, like, keeping these teams down. So, like, you know, Manly are going to be coming a really, really high coming off this Panthers game. And they got so much potential in attack and that. But if we keep at the system, keep, like, you know, defensively just holding them down their end, I'm sure these kicks are going to be going straight to Tommy Turbo in the air. And we're going to get him down early and limit so much of his back end work, because that's where he's so vital for the Manly Seagulls and that. But I think it's definitely, you know, it's a better sign for us now that Manly aren't coming off a 2-game losing streak to where they got to try to prove themselves again. They're coming off a win. Hopefully, we're still on an upwards trajectory. We're still building our game. We just got to focus on ourselves. But it gives me a lot more of, like, all right, you know, it's crazy they beat them, but I'd love for us to, you know, stay on top of these sort of teams like this and not have a bounce back team.
Yeah, well, I said in my preview that I thought, you know, the Warriors should dictate terms to the Bunnies. And perfect example, they did. And the Bunnies couldn't adjust to our style. I would say the same for Manly, is that you get into a grind with us and see how you come out.
Exactly.
Now, in saying that, they do have I looked at a lot of their shape, and it's very similar to us in terms of Trebojevic is the link. He's a first receiver. He's always there setting up the shape. So it'd be interesting to see a style almost kind of similar to ours, obviously with different personnel. Like they got the Saab, they got speed all around. Their forward pack for me isn't totally dominant. I think we can get on top of them. But they're a quality side. Cherry Evans, he always comes up big against the Warriors. You can just imagine if the weather's not good, that he'll have a good, strong kicking game. I mean, he's got a very good kicking game. That's why a lot of these guys have hung around so long is the kicking game. You look at the Reynolds, the Cherry Evanses, the Sean Johnsons. It's the kicking game that the young halves don't always have. And that's so we've got to be really onto it. Did you get a chance to touch on the injuries moving forward? And I know we'll cover this in all you can eat on Tuesday. But what's your thoughts on obviously Dallin out? Marata looks like he's out for another long stint, and Walker, I'm not sure where he's at. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm waiting on Walks. I'm not too sure what's really going on with Walks and stuff, but hopefully Dal, judging by the sounds of it, apparently Dal was more of a precautionary thing. I think Webby was saying in the pregame that he said that if he was just playing under, I think he had tightness or something like that. I think that's what had him out or whatever. So it could have been him out for 4 weeks if he played and hurt himself for a little bit more or something like that. The other one, Murata, was a big one. That one hurts because we finally got to see him back as that strike forward that we're kind of hoping for. In this game, he was going to be playing back in that edge position maybe, or he could have played off the bench. I would have thought off the bench as well. But really, really sad to see that. Our depth is still getting, a run through at the moment, but I think we're holding up really, really well. Obviously, it just sucks losing quality players like that. And I thought Bunty was in for a good shift in this game too, bro, where now he's out with a hamstring injury by the looks of it. Hopefully Walks is back soon. But even though, like the boys are saying in the chat before, we got Zion Mauz. I thought Tom Ale was really strong in this game as well. He has some really nice moments.
Tom looks really good,
Yep. I thought, Jacob Laban looked really, really good in contact in this game. Maybe we see a little bit more out of him. But hopefully Walker is back and maybe brings one of those, Laban maybe back to cup and continue him in his learning and development. Yeah. We got cover there, bro. That's the biggest thing. Obviously it just sucks losing these top-notch type of players. Like Dallin's a big one where, I don't want to see us without him for way too long because I feel like we look so good if we have Dal back there, RTS in that center role. I don't know. I just love
what was people's thoughts on Jazz? I know Jazz had a few errors.
There was a couple of comments on obviously Jazzy's errors, and I knew that was going to be a thing pretty early on. But I think a lot of people have still said he got around and got through a good shift. He got through 111 meters or something like that. I think I saw before. I thought defensively he was chopping blokes too, left, right, and center. I thought he got through a good shift. But do you reckon he's good enough to hold his spot there? Or, then again, maybe we don't really have a choice either, and I think he's good enough to be in that role.
I think so. Yeah, but you gotta say. He got let off the hook a few times. I know the Rabbitohs just dropped a ton of pill today.
Yeah.
Other teams would probably punish that a bit more. I mean, we're a team, we don't really have those unforced errors. 48, what's up, man?
I thought we ain't going to talk about Jazz.
We don't talk about Jazz, no. We don't talk. Yeah, but look, he might be what we've got at the moment. But you might have to look at grafting in Zion Mo but I think Tom Ale is stepping up for sure. I definitely think
100%.
that stint that he did there. He's a guy who looks like he's not afraid of the big boppers now. He's finding his line really well, getting on his fronts. He's become a little bit stronger. You can tell he's just grown into his frame and a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I'm not afraid to even have a Zion Mo there as an option.
Yeah.
But I think, we just got to be careful with those errors. Those errors will get punished.
Yeah.
A little bit, from better teams because I felt as though that one that he dropped. The one from Tohu, that's usually Walker in that spot, and I think he got his line a little bit wrong.
Bit off,
So he should have scored that technically.
Mm-hmm.
And then
the second one,
the second one was just a bump off and lose control, and that was just not acceptable with our new standards.
Exactly.
But I just want to quickly mention, I was listening to the Jackson Ford, what was it? The interview he had with the One Take, the Warriors podcast. Yep. And he's saying he was surprised Webby knew more about his game than he knew. And I'm thinking, man, you got to really look at how Webby's developed. A lot of it, even like the likes of a Dallin, did you ever think that he could do that amount of finishing to that standard? And I wonder if Webby's like, hey, I know more about you. I want to take you to a new level. And all these other guys as well. I mean, we've got blessed with an amazing coach right now that
100%.
is just changing the culture of the team. And it's making a big impact because for the longest time, and sorry, I'm carrying on with this, but
No, you're good, bro.
The Warriors have always had massive support, but there've been people hiding in the caves, you know.
Yeah, legit, bro.
There's everywhere. There's people hiding in these caves, and but peeking their eyes out, waiting for this day. And now the day's come out, and all of them blooming come out. But my man, 40, he's been there. He's never been in the cave. He's been out there since day one.
He's been there from the start, baby. Day ones.
He's day one all day, and probably I'll catch up with you, 40. Hopefully at the game next week, I'll come down north and catch up with you, brother. Yeah.
No, I completely agree with you there, bro. Like, when we got a coach like Webby that is like honestly giving all these players into career form, like you're right, Dal hadn't showed that. He had moments to the Panthers system where you could see something, but wasn't really there, wasn't consistent enough. He went to the Doggies, definitely wasn't consistent enough in that system. You look at, and then he comes over to us and performs the way he is. Like Marcelo Montoya was a Doggies reject that the Dogs didn't want anymore. They never saw anything out of him. Tamade Martin was like someone that the Broncos gave him an opportunity, but they felt so easy to let him out the back door just to get Reece Walsh back in. And, we picking up those pieces and created him like this. And like Mitch Barnett's another one. Mitch Barnett, like at the Knights, I've always loved Mitch Barnett, but he always had that mean streak to him. And he has that mean streak still, but he's doing consistent football. And that's a big thing about Mitch Barnett. Wade Egan's a big one. And I touched on it in this one. You got the Fox League coverage now that I know. This is good. Greg Alexander has been very vocal early on before this about why the Panthers let go of Wade Egan and said he wasn't up to scratch and he was never going to be. And I've had multiple chats with a couple of boys in my comment section and that about, Freddie Lussick and, Wade Egan. And, Wade Egan was never going to be that. He's a reject and all that. Webby has created this hooker. He's been absolutely incredible. And Brandy struggles so much to give him that credit. He said today, they're milking every bit of skill out of Wade Egan and all that sort of stuff, which I took it as I always took it as he's never been at that level or that it's the best he's going to get to. You know what I mean?
Brandy. He's a massive douche.
I know. When it gets to that, it's kind of like, nah, bro, this guy's on a different level. And I think he's got a lot more to go. Jacko's another one like that. Jacko Ford's still got a lot more to go, but Webby's putting every bit of effort into him. And it's just across the board, bro. Our team's on a different level right now. And, Sharkies didn't want Shawnee. And we got Shawnee back and look at him now.
Yeah. Again, Webby, he's a master of, he knows he can get something out of someone. But yeah, if you guys do, that Jacko Ford interview was really cool. There is story. But yeah, we got to be really, really in tune and mate, we're in a great run here. Yep. And I just saw glimpses today, and I know we shouldn't be thinking like that, but I was like, frick, man, this looks like a freaking premiership team, bro.
It's a good team.
I'm like, yeah, I was really happy with the performance. I'm going to watch the tape, obviously, when it comes out and dissect, and we'll break it down, but I just want to watch it again and just see what I missed, because I look freaking hell, I just looked amazing.
They look incredible, bro. And that wasn't even our full strength team, bro. That wasn't even our full strength team.
Far out.
That's where it's at. You know what I mean? To have that performance, that's incredible. We still got a way to go. I didn't think we were perfect tonight, but we ran a really good game plan. We stuck to it all the way, and we had an 80-minute performance, and that's the biggest thing. We can still grow, but that was an 80-minute performance there, and we stuck all the way to the end. We didn't concede in that second half, which was a massive credit. We've done that multiple times this year. We've turned that around a little bit. So really good to see the boys grow from there, and I love that. But any last thoughts, my brother? Shout out to all the 97 people in the chat right now. Just absolutely incredible. Please, before we leave here, if you guys haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, please make sure you like and subscribe. We would absolutely adore that. If you enjoy the content, if this is viable for you guys, if you think that we're doing a good job, that is the best way to show it, and it really shows out to a whole lot of people out there. But any last thoughts, my bro?
Yeah, happy with the performance. I mean, we've been talking about it, just finishing details. I mean, in my preview, I said, I'm playing it safe here. I know we're coming up against a kind of a poor Rabbitohs team, but I was thinking it's going to be an 8-point win. To see us put 30 points on, 34 points on like that, nailing the finishing, nailing the finer details, sticking within the systems, trusting that the structures will open up opportunities, and the guys finishing. RTS getting a try on his 200th game. What a great man he is, man. And it's great to see his brother there, support, and all the family. Leevon, we're starting to see our development guys coming in. There's little, it's like a painting, that and these little, the master strokes are coming in, and it's all Webby and the system and the coach and the GM. We're just in a wonderful period. And, more importantly, like Richard's saying there, South only managed 4 points. That's it. Defense. Defense is going to win you guys things in the long run. But yeah, very happy, man, and that's pretty much all I have to say.
Yeah, and my last thoughts, honestly, is like thank you to every single one of you guys out there as well. I don't want to talk like this is our grand final or anything like that. We've still got a long way to go on that, but like I'm pretty sure in the coverage they said that we sold out next week's game, or we're close to selling out next week's game again for the Seagulls, which is absolutely incredible. This is like every game, home game we've had this season, the Christchurch game we've sold out and stuff. Like the performances that we're putting on, the fans getting behind us, like the team that we're rolling out there with, the depth we're rolling out there with, like it's such a good time to be a Warriors fan. So like, appreciate every single one of you guys. I did want to touch on that is like all you fans out there that have jumped on the back of channels like ours, NRL Fanatic, Warriors NRL Fanatics, and like all the Warriors fan bases out there and all that. Like, thank you so much guys for always showing support and like making this such a fun thing to do every week and all that. So I appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you, Leevon, for letting me have the steering wheel for a little bit. But...
No. One thing, guys, I just want to shout out. This man right here just came in at the last minute. I said, man, I'm on daddy duties. I'm having, I've got a thing. And he immediately put up his hand. And this is how it should be, guys. Us working together, me and Ash. It's really our show together. I know at times I'm leading it, but it's great to see Ashley. And I appreciate you, brother, for doing it. And we know you guys appreciate all the feedback here, that everyone's enjoying it. And again, the best thing you can do is give us a like and subscribe. And even 100%. Ash and his content over at Ash Thomas on YouTube, please give that a like and a subscribe. But no, thank you again, brother, for holding it down. And like 97 people, bro, they're all hungry. They want all you can eat. They want the all you can Warriors on Tuesday. But appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much, guys. It's been amazing. It's been absolutely incredible, and there's so much more to come. I saw the potential in like what we've got going on here, and like I absolutely adore it, bro. Like I can't wait to continue doing this, and we've got we're going to grow into such great things, and I'm sure that everyone out there in the chat and all that will hopefully agree and all that. So appreciate every single one of you guys. Up the wires, baby. On to another weekend. Let's go.
Up the wires. Let's go.
Let's go. I love that.